Welcome back. In this video, we'll be continuing with our Smali. So I will be covering some more Smali in this video. So let's get right down to it. So firstly, we'll be talking about assigning values to registers. So we can see an example. Oops, I will just close this. So we can see an example. So the register is V0 and the value is V1. So this part is a destination and this is the source. So this means that it is assigning the value to V0 and there is a keyword here constant /4. So what is this 4 represents? 4 represents the size of the integer which is 4 bytes and it is a constant. That's why it has a constant/4. Okay, 4 represents the size of the integer. So it is copying or putting the value 1 to V0. Okay, so after that I will show you another example. So here it is copying the value 0 to V3 and here it is copying the value 12 to V1. You should be careful because this is in hex. You can see the X here. We can see another example. So this is copying a string to V0. As you can see the keyword here constant string. So it is copying the string to V0. And another example is seen here is copying the string Eric to V0 and the keyword is constant string. So let's look on some conditional statements in Smali. So this is really important when it reaches our reversing section. We'll be seeing this a lot. So let me explain some of these important conditional statements in Smali. So firstly we'll be looking at if EQ. The operands of this conditional statement are registers. We can see an example here. So if EQ and VA comma VB. So these are two registers. For example, we can consider this as V0 and this is V1. So if both are equal, EQ means if VA equal to VB, then jump to condition X. So we can define a label here. So if both V1 or V0 is equal, it will go to this label. Okay, we can define a label and it will just go to there if these both registers are same, else it will continue on executing the code below this conditional statement. So let's look on the next conditional statements. If any means not equal. So if VA and VB are not equal, then it would go to this level. VA can be a register, VB can be a register. For example, it can be V0 or V2. So if V0 and V2 is not equal, it will go to this defined label here, or else it will continue executing the code below. So there is other conditional statements like less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. In less than or greater than or equal to, if VA is less than VB, it will go to this particular label. We can see that if VA is less than VB, then it will go to this label. So similarly, if VA is greater than VB, it will go to this particular defined label. So these are all just self-explanatory. And if you look at here, in this EQ and NEQ and these conditional statements below, this only have one register as operand. In here, what this EQ means? EQ means if this register VA, it can be V0, V2, V3, any register. Okay, so if that register is 0, if it holds the value 0, it will go to this particular label, or it will keep on continue executing the code below. So we can see that if V is equal to 0, then jump to this label. So similarly, in EQ is just the opposite. It means that if VA is not equal to 0, then it would go to this condition. Okay, otherwise it will keep on executing the code below. So there are other similar ones like less than. 0, then jump to this condition, and greater than or equal to 0, then jump to this condition, greater than 0, and then to this condition, less than or equal to 0, then jump to this condition. Okay, now let me show you a real example of this conditional statement. So let me go to my Android Labs folder and easy APK tool. So let me show you the Smali. So we can see a conditional statement here. So there is only a one parameter register. This is using not equal to 0. So this means that if p1 not equal to 0, or it means if p1 not contains 0, then it should go to this label. So we can look on the label condition underscore 0. Here we can see that cond underscore 0. So if p1 contains 0, it will not jump to this label. It will keep on executing these lines of code. It is checking if p1 not contains 0. P1 does not contain 0, it will go to this label. So when the execution reaches here, it will check what is the value of p1. So if it is not equal to 0, the condition is satisfied and it will jump to this label, or else it will keep on executing this code. So when it jumps to this label, it will skip all the code and it will only execute the lines of code from here, from this condition underscore 0. Okay, so this is the one example of our conditional statement in Smali. So let's move on and to try to look on more instructions in Smali. Let me go to the example in this previous video. So we can see a move instruction. So in move instruction, the first register is the destination and the second register is the source. So in this move instruction, it is copying the value from P0 to V0, and similarly it is copying the value P1 to V1, and it is copying the value from V0 to V2, the example for move instruction. And after that it is doing an addition.